common knowledge that I love Scooby-Doo. And my favorite Scooby-Doo movie of all time is the live-action Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Now, I'd love to just review this for you, but it's not a Disney movie, so I haven't had a lot of time to accurately watch it and review it for you.
Curse my hubris.
So instead, I found another form of Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, the computer game. For those of you born after the early 2000s, these games would go into the disk drive on your computer. Now, my laptop doesn't have a disk drive, so I had to buy an external one. Alright, so let's pop this bad boy in and see what we've gotten ourselves into. This intro goes on for almost 3 minutes. It's just a commercial for the actual movie. Why am I not watching the actual movie?
Hubris?
Another thing, this commercial focuses so much on how Shaggy and Scooby are going to be the main protagonists. Why do they announce Velma after Shaggy then? That just doesn't make sense. It's not important because now we have gameplay. Well, almost gameplay. But since we're here, let's pick a file and get started. I think it's cool how the character you pick affects the voice lines when hovering over an option button. But how did they choose these voice lines? Why isn't Velma's Jinkies and why isn't Shaggy's Zoinks? They're just weird. Daphne's is just good job. If I wanted a validation, I would not ask Daphne. Finally, gameplay time. Oh, one sec, let me get that. They just called to notify me that we now have to go through a mandatory cutscene. I suppose I could just click through the dialogue, but I mean, I'm not a savage. But first thing I need to note here, the voice acting could be worse, but when you're used to Matthew Lillard and Freddie Prinze Jr., this just does not stand up. I guess I'll just have to get used to it. Alright, here we go. Actual gameplay. Kind of. This is the first part of these games, the quote-unquote clues section. There's an obvious place you need to steer Shaggy and Scooby, but first you have to find all the clues in one area and get a still image of the movie. Hooray. Well, let's move past this ecstatic crowd.
Whoa.
And into the museum. Dialogue, blah blah blah, and boom, something new. A recreated cutscene. These are ugly. If they wanted video, why didn't they rip it from the movie? They had permission for images, why couldn't they just use video? This just looks like the first model of virtual reality. More dialogue, and finally, the second part of the game. Mini quote-unquote games. You can barely call them games even. Let's go through each one now. First is Clear the Way. Creative titles. It says so on the package. I swear, I've seen advertisements for this app on YouTube videos. It's just one of those simple slide puzzles. 3 levels and it's over. At least it doesn't overstay its welcome. Next up, A Place for Almost Everything. Here we rebuild the costumes of classic Scooby-Doo villains that were broken by the evil masked figure. It's simple enough, but here's the point of the game where I realized that there's too much narration. Everything is narrated, I swear. They narrate my mouse.
Redbeard's hat, skeleton man's chest, skeleton man's leg. No, I don't think so.
After this, we get our first map scene.
I love cartography.
This is cool and all, but why? We don't need them for loading, so what is the point? After some more dialogue and cutscenes and dialogue, we finally make it to Old Wickles Manor, where we get our third minigame. It's a trap. Catch the falling people and... moving on. This is the first minigame where you start to collect Scooby snacks. They're littered throughout the game, so I bet they unlock something awesome at the end. Minigame 4. Get it together. Collect pieces of the Spookbuster.
The what?
Yeah, this is a blatant ripoff of Ghostbusters, but I mean, it's Scooby-Doo. We'll let it slide. Basically, you just walk around, avoid the monsters, and collect the Scooby snacks as well as the pieces of the Spookbuster. It's a simple lead Scooby around to the right destination, and you'll get there eventually. Finish up the game, and... You have to wait for every single Scooby snack to be counted. No, it's fine. If I have an hour to play this game, I have at least 2 hours to wait. Minigame 5, Ghost Huntin'. Circles on a mouse.
I love pain.
I understand this is an old PC game, and what were you going to use besides a mouse, but honestly, circles with a mouse? Most of my circles come out looking vaguely egg-shaped, but a lot of them also look like squares. And you know what? We'll do what we have to finish this game. Essentially, draw quote-unquote circles around the ghosts to get them to disappear. The quote-unquote bosses take a few more circles to take care of. Several quote-unquote circles later, and the minigame is over. After this, Shaggy and Scooby head to the faux ghost, which I'm going to assume you knew because clearly you're a Scooby-Doo fan if you're using your time on this video. But the next minigame we have is To the Nines, disguises for the faux ghost.
Disco wig, Brisco racket, disco bands, disco glass, bruh.
Moving on. Minigame 7, Friend or Foe. It's just Get It Together again. I mean, at least it's got a killer jazz soundtrack.
Groovy.
Minigame 8, Dance the Fright Away. Click the matching symbols to do the corresponding dance move. Somehow, they simultaneously failed at a memory game and a rhythm game. The symbols are on the screen for you to look at, and you don't even need to press them in time. At least Shaggy and Scooby have some killer dance moves. The Face of a Broken Man. Now, here's the part where Shaggy and Scooby go to the mines to follow Old Man Wiggles. And here's where I realized some of these clues are impossible. 90% of them are right in your face, but that last 10% is just ridiculous. Minigame 9, Moonlight Mayhem. If you thought clicking for clues was bad, just wait till you play this game. Objectively, the worst game out of the bunch. All you do is spam the left mouse button to try and find enough spots to get points and a bunch of Scooby snacks. Waste of time. Minigame 10, Mutate Madness. Colors!
I loved kindergarten.
Yeah, you basically just put the colors together in order to get another color. But more importantly, Scoob, what happened? Why can't I see through you? Minigame 11. It's all downhill from here. I bet you're thinking,
Where's the game where Scooby-Doo says Wahoo 30 times?
well, boy, do I have a game for you. It's just an on-rails Scooby snack collectathon with a lot of Minigame 12, Verse the Current. Alright, I'll give this game this much. This game actually takes a bit of thinking. You need to put the right parts in the right places, and the game will tell you how many are the right color and are in the right place. So essentially you need to keep testing it. But Velma, do you really need to tell me the color of everything? I just played Mutate Madness. I know my colors pretty darn well.
A red wire.
Minigame 13, Pterodactyl Terror. THQ really loves the phrase airborne assault. I mean, they just said airborne assault twice. This is the car section. Let's go through it quickly and just get it over with. You skirt around in the mystery machine, stopping in the yellow circles to try and get the passengers onto the mystery machine so you can get them out of the way of the airborne assault of the pterodactyl ghost. And that's it. Minigame 14, Joust the Way You Are. Click 5 times or so in the red crosshairs. That's it. You just gotta knock the Black Knight Ghost off of his horse. But with the added effect of the Joy-Con drift that you get with your Joy-Cons for your Nintendo Switch, it's pretty hard. Minigame 15, Runaway. Another Scooby Snack Collectathon. But whose idea was it to put the enemies in the exact path Shaggy needs to go? You literally can't do this perfectly. And once you get to the puzzles, I mean, they're alright. You basically just have to flick all the switches green. Not too difficult. Minigame 15, Cottonmouth. This game used to be the hardest one when I was little. You have to click when the cotton candy glob isn't looking. This requires patience that I have never had. Minigame 17, Monster Match. Hey, an actually successful memory game. But for the love of all things good in this world, why is there more than one screen? Just cram it all into one screen. But literally, it's just a memory game with all the monsters from the game. Minigame 18, A Sticky Situation. I have several issues with this game. Scooby can glitch out and force you to restart, the jumping sucks, and why does the timer look like a picture rather than an actual timer? All the other timed games have a nice timer that's easily counting down. I can't even tell if the tar is rising in this game. Also, the platforms are not matched up and everything looks ugly. But, because it is my job, I shall explain to you what the game is. Essentially, you go around, find the computers to activate platforms, and you get to the end of the level. Easy peasy, this minigame sucks.
And that's it. But what do we get for doing all this? And who's the villain?
What? No unmasking, nothing. And the bonus password could only be received by watching the movie in theaters. Luckily, the internet knows all, and all we have to do is type in SD2. You just play 5 levels of Dance to Fright Away against the evil masked figure. I'm so happy I played this entire game to get this extremely amazing award. I am honored to have this, and thank you to THQ for letting me play this Scooby-Doo game.
And that's it for Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed for the PC. We don't get a whole lot for beating it, and the clues only give us a 100% bar, but at least we can go and look through the monster files now.
Wait, Tar Monsters what now?
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
Hey, did you enjoy the video? Well, then it would mean a lot to me if you were to subscribe and check out some of my other videos below. If you have any suggestions for other games I should talk about, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I will do my best to try and review them. Thanks again!